Good morning, everybody. Welcome to worship. It's good to see everyone here this morning. I think there may be some folks outside still, but everybody's coming in. Just a couple of announcements. Today is a special service. We've got deacon ordination and junior deacon ordination and a special message for youth and kids. So if you need bathrooms or restrooms during the service today, they're just in the building out there. You just walk out and down the sidewalk and in the building. You'll find them real easy. After church today, after worship, we are going to, everybody is invited to Torchy's Tacos on 35. And if you want to join us, we're celebrating the ordination of our deacons. And it's going to be a wonderful thing. I am always a fan of tacos, and I love that our church has an affinity for tacos. And it's one of the reasons that I have an affinity for this congregation. Now, there's not going to be a regular kids' time in worship today because Joyce is bringing a special message for all of our youth and for our junior deacons. So right after communion this morning is when the kids that are of the correct age will go to the kids' time. And so that'll happen a little earlier in the service than it normally does, but just want to let you know right after communion, kids, if you're normally heading off after the kids' time to be in kids' church, then that's the right time today is right after communion for that. So the adults and all the people that are going will be heading out at that time. So at this time, as we begin our time of worship this morning, we're going to have the chiming of the hour, and I just invite you as we hear the chime 10 times like we do on every week we have worship. I invite you to center your heart, quiet your soul, and prepare to enter into an atmosphere of worship this morning.
Gathering God, you knit your people together in the body of Christ and form congregations to do your good work. Be present in our feasting and praying and in our worship and service, so that this community reflects your abundance and desire for the church on earth today and always. Amen.
Would you stand as we begin to sing this morning? My soul cries out. My soul cries out with a joyful shout. God, my heart is great. And my spirit swings with the wondrous things that you bring to the one who waits. You fix your sight on the servant's plight, and in my weakness you did not sign. So from east to west, till my name be blessed, and the world be about to turn. Oh, I'm small. Oh, I am small. My God, my all, you work great things in me. And your mercy lasts from the depths of the past, from the end of the age to be. Your very name. Your very name is the cloud to shake. You show your light and the strong to flight, and the world is about to turn. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, that the fires of your justice burn. Wipe away our tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn. the halls of power.
The halls of power.
To the fortress tower, not a stone will be left unturned. Let the king beware of your justice, tears every tyrant from his throne. The hungry poor shall need no more, for the food they can never earn. Until tables spread, every mouth be fed, for the world is about to turn. Rage from age to age, we remember who holds us fast. God's mercy must deliver us from the conqueror's crushing grasp. This saving word that our forebears heard is the promise that holds us bound. So the spear and rod be crushed by God, who is turning the world around. My heart shall sing of the day you bring, let the fires of justice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, for the world is about to turn.
My heart shall sing.
My heart shall sing of the sun you bring, let the fires of injustice burn. Wipe away all tears, for the dawn draws near, and the world is about to turn.
No matter where we come from today or what we go through in our own lives, one of my prayers is that we can find rest in the Lord.
Who is Lord but our Lord? Who is God, holy God? You are the highest. You are most good.
Matchless is your love.
Matchless is your love. Our praises will rise above your peace like a river. Love's over us.
Our hearts are restless.
Our hearts are restless until they find rest in you. Our hearts are restless until they find rest in you. This is where my hope lies. This is where my soul sighs, and I will always find my rest in you.
So full of mercy.
So full of mercy, beauty and discovery. You are most weary, but always with us.
Our hearts are restless.
Our hearts are restless until they find rest. Our hearts are restless until they find rest. This is where my hope lies. This is where my soul sighs, and I will always find my rest in you.
This is where my hope lies.
This is where my hope lies. This is where my soul sighs, and I will always find my rest in you.
Our hearts rest the sun
till they find rest in
Our hearts
to rest the sun till they find rest in you. This is where my hope lies. This is where my soul sighs.
and I
Will always find my rest in you.
This is where my hope lies. This is where my soul sighs, and I will always find my rest in you.
Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Y'all are being so unenergetic today. I'm just going to say it. I think someone didn't get their second cup of coffee. Pep it up. This is a pep rally today. We're ordaining our newest deacons. This is exciting. Yes, okay. Tough crowd.
Give it up for deacon ordination!
That scared me. Thank you. All right, so we are doing our deacon ordination today. We like to take our ordinations and just put them in our normal services because, like, we're here. Like, whatever. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. So I'm going to keep this really short. I just wanted to talk about a song today because we're in a preaching series called Songs That Bring Us to Spiritual Places. And I've been using communion to pick actual, Christian songs because we're supposed to not pick one for our sermon. So if you'll notice that over the last few weeks and the next few weeks. Okay, so because one of my favorite lines from a song ever comes from, I guess they would be considered a Christian band, The Brilliants. Is that considered a Christian band? Anyone? Okay, fine. Go look them up. I like them. And they have a song called All Is Not Lost. And actually in staff meeting a few weeks ago, we just ended up listening to music for a long time because we were talking about this series, and then we kept sharing a song that brought us to spiritual places. And then we realized we were listening to music for a long time. And I played them this song because the bridge of the song has one of my favorite lines ever, ever, ever. It says this: "May the seeds of peace be scattered, birthing trees whose shade gives us rest." So I'm going to say that again. May the seeds of peace be scattered, birthing trees whose shade gives us rest. And I just really love this line for a lot of different reasons. But I think that being a part of this community, in some ways it can be hard. It can be isolating from past people in your life or family members who maybe don't engage faith in the same way. I know me personally, I get called heretic a lot, and even I posted about this on Instagram, although I didn't go into specifics. But
As a badge of honor.
well, but like people will say to people who know me, like family members will like warn them about me. And they'll be like, saying that my message is, a dangerous path to go down. And y'all know about this, right? A lot of y'all know about this because we have a different way of engaging theology and faith than what maybe we were raised with. So this could be very, very exhausting. And I think if you didn't have a community, it could be very, very hard. But I am not exhausted. Whenever this happens, I'm just like, okay, moving on. Because I realize that I find shade in the trees that our community has planted. And today, most specifically, I think about our deacons, the seeds that they plant and have planted over the years. So our new deacons, but also our original deacons, our deacons who are no longer on the rotation right now, the deacons new and old, the trees that have grown from those seeds have provided shade and rest for our community. Amid the backdrop of life, circumstances, tragedies, grief, stress, sickness, hopelessness, despair. We have here this place of rest, this place of peace. And so much of that, y'all, is created from the energy and support of our deacons. They really were the heartbeat in the middle of the height of the pandemic and continue to be the seed scatterers in so many ways in our community. And so with this collective gratitude in mind, I want to invite you into our communion liturgy. I'll read the regular print. If you're looking in the guide, you can respond in the bold. If you're looking up here on the screen, the purple-ish color is for you to read. But let's read together as we enter into this moment, and then I'll give us some further instructions after that. God is within you.
God is also within you.
Lift up your hearts.
We join the beloved community.
Let us give thanks for the blessing of life.
Here we raise our voices in gratitude.
Pray with me. May our seeds of peace be scattered, birthing trees whose shade gives us rest. Amen. Great is the mystery of faith.
Christ is reimagined death, and we join him in bringing heaven to earth.
Okay, so we do communion in the back these days, which means if you're on the back row, you'll go first. We have some hand sanitizer for you as you're exiting your aisle. So you go down through the inside, clean your hands, take some bread. We do intinction. You'll dip your bread into the juice. The bread is gluten-free. And then you'll go back to your seat outside of your aisle. So we invite you to go as you're able and as you want to go. Every age, gender, race, everyone's welcome. Sorry, I was wrong. I gave the instructions wrong, but we'll figure it out.
I was wrong. Yeah, one of them. I thought it was base though. Oh, because they've got their. Yeah. The balance is okay though.
vessel of your peace. Where there's war, let violence cease. All that divides us, don't reconcile us. Make me a vessel of your peace. Make me a vessel of your love. Where there's hatred, all creeds and colors bind us together. Vessel of your love. Pour me out, pour me out, pour me out. Wherever I am, wherever I go, pour me out, pour me out, pour me out. Wherever I go, wherever I go. Make me a vessel of your hope. Where dreams are dead, wake them up. A new horizon, I feel it rising. Make me a vessel of your hope. Pour me out, pour me out, pour me out. Wherever I am, wherever I go, pour me out, pour me out, pour me out. Wherever I am, wherever I go, pour me out, pour me out, pour me out. Wherever I am, wherever I go. Rushing river, let mercy flow through my heart, to my soul. Like a rushing river, let mercy flow through my heart, to my soul. Like a rushing river, let mercy flow through my heart, to my soul. Rushing river, let mercy flow through my head to my soul. Pour me out, pour me out, pour me out. Wherever I am, wherever I go, pour me out, pour me out. Pour me out, wherever I am, wherever I go. You may be seated. You're going to kids' church now. Is
I think if I could get the youth to come up here with me. I think we have some of them. Yeah, slide. Okay. Let's see, Valencia and Patty. If y'all would all come up here for just a minute, just the youth, Eli, and those of you who are in the youth program, okay? Patty, Eli, and if Valencia would like to come. Okay. All right. Okay, well, in the New Living Translation of the Bible, there's a verse that says in 1 Timothy 4:12 that says, "Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young." And at POC, we do not think less of our young. We value you and we learn from you. Just a few weeks ago, Connor stood up here and reminded us that whether we feel like the scab on the knee of the body of Christ or a vital organ, we have a place here. And Putty reminded us in her reflection that our differences are what makes the body of Christ interesting. And mushing, which was her word and I loved it, mushing all those differences together is what makes us capable of creating a safe and loving place for everyone. And Haddon and Wes, they did a puppet show and, reminded the children that we're all equally important and we can accomplish so much when we work together. And we all heard these messages and it was powerful. And I've watched our youth, led by the junior deacons, write notes to people who need encouragement, get up one early Saturday morning and go to a park and plant trees. Another Saturday morning, go to a formerly homeless community and pull up weeds there so that they would have a space for a garden and then have to battle chigger bites afterwards. And just as important, I've watched them get together and just have fun being with each other. And I just want y'all to know that you are a blessing to this church and to the larger communities where you live. In fact, when we look at you guys, we are filled with awe and hope. All because you're just so dang amazing, okay? And hope because we see a bright future ahead for this church and the world, right? When we look at you guys. So this sermon series is about songs, right? They give us a spiritual message, and I want you guys to hear some words from a song that's probably too old. You've never heard it before, but all these folks out here have. Jonathan's going to play it for us, and I want you to listen to the song.
You know it. Sing. Just doing the chorus. Doing all right, getting good grades. The future's so bright. Gotta wear shades. Gotta wear shades. All right, doing all right, getting good grades. The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. I gotta wear shades. Doing all right, getting good grades. The future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. I gotta wear shades. I gotta wear shades. I gotta wear shades.
Y'all are the future, okay? That's how we feel when we look at you. Your light is so bright that we gotta wear shades.
Woo!
I got a memento for you guys today of Nate's ordination. He's going to join the junior deacons.
Woohoo!
This guy has a big heart, so he's going to be a great addition to the group. And he's going to bring his own unique contributions. We can't wait to see him. Okay, so you guys get to pick a pair of glasses out of this bag here. Take home with you to remind you that you guys are so bright. You can't look at you without shades. There are no worse ones. Nice. These are the best. Yes.
No, I forgot. Yeah, absolutely. Can you please let me do my element? No need the harassment.
Someone does.
Hi, my name is David. I'm going to read our litany for us today. I'll read in the regular text. I invite you to read along with me in the bold text at my pace, please, and thank you. God, we have, this is really, God, we have ideas We don't have a lot of time today. So if you would please join me. God, we have ideas about power. Our culture teaches us that power comes from military might, from how much wealth and resources we own, from the number of people whose lives we control, from what deals we make and how productive we are, from our big guns and our big egos. To all our posturing, we can almost hear you responding, as you did to Job. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? The creativity and beauty of God are immense. All of nature is your gallery. All the cosmos is your power move. And every creature bears witness to your imagination. In our hunt for leverage, regard, and status, we tend to overlook this grassroots goodness. We get distracted by power that lords over, by tyranny, wealth, and weapons. But now we hear the refreshing witness of the Christ, who had no use for tyrants, but instead exemplified servanthood, ego emptying, gentleness, and yet was exalted. We recommit ourselves to the way of Christ, who was rooted upon the earth, yet full of divinity. We center ourselves in the beauty and perfection of creation, realizing that we too embody your image, the Imago Dei. We listen closely to nature's testimony of your character, to the voice of God among the people we meet, to the still small voice that comes from within, and we assume a posture of humble and joyful service. All the earth resounds with the wisdom of God. With appreciation and gratitude, we serve love. Amen. Amen.
Okay, we're gonna have a deeper look moment. This is, we do this often in various kinds of ways, but it's essentially an interview where we get a deeper look into somebody in our community or a work that somebody is a part of. And today we're interviewing our newest deacons. You can see a list of all the deacons on the back of the guide. And these are our newest that we're ordaining today. So we just have a few questions. Sorry, I'm gonna walk around. The first question is to introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about you.
I am Jessica, and let's see, I am the mother of Micah, and I am the daughter of Lynn, who died this week, who we honored yesterday, which was wonderful. And I am a graduate student at Texas State, so I am nerding out a lot. I love to talk about all things like in the human experience and nerd out on that. And I like people.
I'm Joel. I'm a husband to that beautiful blue-haired babe back there. I'm a father to the cool kid who is a new deacon and a beautiful baby girl somewhere. I'm also a writer. That's how I choose to define myself. That's what I obsess over. That's honestly what gave me the... Oh, there's the microphone. That's what gave me the tools to deconstruct in the first place. And I'm a huge Trekkie, which also contributed some tools to deconstruction. So.
Woo! Thanks, y'all. Just to fill in a little bit, Joel leads our monthly writers meetup. If you're interested in that, you can go ask him about it. I think the next one's on November 12th. Meets on Saturday mornings once a month. And Jessica makes beautiful jewelry. She has an Etsy shop and flower arrangements. So I'm just saying. Okay. The next question is, what drew you to the role of deacon in this community?
Well, I was asked, so I was working in, I was volunteering this summer, and then just the community saw that I was participating and making a difference for people, and so they called me into this position, and I love that about it, that But being a deacon for me is seeing, I mean, to me, the deacons are sort of the invisible spirits, right? They do things that we don't even mostly know about. And the deacons have shown up for me this week in ways that I didn't know they would. And I love that, I just love the mystery and magical, the magic and mystery of the deacon body that shows up where we don't even know they are.
Jessica stole my answer. I was also going to say, you asked. So here I am. I guess one of the most formative points in my life was when I ended up in a church that really looks a lot like the Handmaid's Tale. Really terrible place. It's where I met Deborah. Not her fault, not my fault. We made the best of it. But even for as horribly toxic and ruinous as that place was and still is, it's also where I saw the most service for people in need. I had heart surgery at 17. My mother had cancer 2 weeks later, and this toxic, misogynist, patriarchal society just poured so much support and love into us for so long. And that's kind of always really defined for me what spirituality and the best of humanity is. And I'm a little nervous to even be up here. Not sure I should be, but I want to be able to do that for others and for all of you. So here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The last question is, what are you particularly looking forward to in this season of our community?
Well, what I loved that showed up this week, for me as a member of the church, and the death of my mother, I like Jana said, do you want a meal train? People are asking me. And I said, no, really? I mean, we're good. This has been like a 5-year journey, and I feel free in a way now that I haven't been before. And so what she did, I mean, the deacons created this list of healing self-care opportunities where the community could contribute to us that way. And it was so creative and so I want to contribute being resourceful in that way and looking for ways that person really will contribute to that person as an individual and what their needs are. And again, the magic and mystery of the deacon and bringing that, like filling a need that maybe that individual doesn't even know they have. Because it's really hard to answer that question when you're in grief, like, what do you need? I have no idea, but then the community just shows up. So that's what I want to provide. All the phone calls, all the figuring it out things. That's where I want to show up.
There we go. So I spent all day yesterday in back and forth arguments that I did not start with family about the sorts of values and people this church holds dear. And that's really what I want to do. I want to be a part of promoting our values. Oops, bring that mic back. Promoting our values and our people in a culture dominated by a religion that seeks to oppress so many people. And also, I'd like to finally help somebody move. When I first joined, I tried to help the Bowens move. Couldn't find the place. Drove all the way out there, couldn't find them, went home. And then I tried to help Erin move her mom. Car broke down going there. So, third time's the charm, maybe.
Is anyone moving? Oh, Jan. Oh, okay, let's talk later about that. Just my neighbor. Anyways.
You bring the ibuprofen, I'll be there.
Thank y'all so much. We're so excited. By the way, an ordination is, it's a ritual moment, just where we collectively say yes to something, and we're saying yes to you in this way, and we hope that today is special and communicates that well. So we'll continue on.
Reading.
Alright, what am I doing? Does anyone have a Bible? Yes, I have one at home.
This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
This one. You know, I'm trying to find it in Romans, but that's not good. I should be able, here it is. Okay, Romans 12.
Bible drill.
There.
Peak anxiety Bible drill.
That love be without dissimulation. Okay, yeah, let's do that.
You want to hold it? Want to take it out and hold it?
Sure. I guess that works. Yeah. That love be without dissimulation.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affection. I'm not sure.
You got this.
Affectionate one to another with brotherly love, in honor preferring one another, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, contending instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. Bless them with persecute you, bless and curse not. Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Be of the same mind one toward another, mind not of high things, but condescending to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. We commits to no man evil for evil. Provide things honest in the sight of all men, if it be possible, as much as life you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in doing so, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. I still need a reminder.
I was gonna ask. Did you give him the King James? What a weird,
This was for
weird
ancestry.
initiation ritual.
This whole hour today, this is my family's time.
So hi everybody. Wonderful job, Megan. Thank you. That wasn't fair, the translation she gave me. I struggle with King James. So let me just have a few minutes of your time to offer a homily, a reflection for our deacons today and all of us. First, let me begin with a confession. A number of years ago, Kyle Tubbs, a former pastor here, he brought up the idea of creating the group of deacons. I remember this distinctly. And I remember my very first thought and reaction, and I'm not proud of it, but here it was. I thought, are you just trying to find others to do your work for you? Maybe that was projection, you know? Maybe that was honest. I don't know. We're all imperfect here. This was my first thought. And pretty quickly after the first group of deacons got to work, and it included rock stars such as Cam Scott, only a few remember him, Brandy Brown, Heather Hanzelka, I realized how off base my thinking was. It wasn't that the deacons were replacing the work of someone else.
It's that the deacons were doing work that was going undone. And I didn't even realize it at the time. And he had the foresight to see we're going to grow into this incredible community where this kind of work needs to be attended to even more so. Think about the many ways that our deacons hold this community together. They're more than greeters. They're more than someone to print the guide and coordinate logistics for meal deliveries. They do all that, but there's so much more. Instead, the work they do embodies the very definition of care proposed by the sociologist and care theorist, yeah, that's a real job, Joan Tronto. She defines care as, and I quote, a species of activity, I already like it, a species of activity that includes everything we do to maintain, contain, and repair our world, to make it as inhabitable as possible. That's beautiful, right? A species of activity that includes everything we do to maintain, contain, and repair our world, to make it as inhabitable as possible. Now, she makes care sound fundamentally like it's something we do, but she adds 4 attributes of skillful care. She says, first, care requires attentiveness, the skill of noticing and anticipating needs, right? We might call this caring about something or giving a darn. Believe it or not, we all usually can say, oh, I care about the environment. I care about the poor. I care about, and most of us actually stop right there. And she says, well, that's only one of 4 requirements to actually care, all right? That's a good start, but that's not it. We have no shortage of people who do that. She says you need a second capacity. You have to take responsibility for that. There has to be this willingness to respond to and take care of need. I think we would all agree there's a massive chasm between that first attribute and that second. I can see the need, all right, but I'm actually going to do something about it. She said, third, there is competence. There is competence in care, successful care, that is. This too is rare. It's a common joke that we can get free help or we can get good help, but you can't really get free good help. And in fact, if I'm helping somebody say move, I'll be like, hey, you can get free help or good help, and guess which one you got today? You got free help. So often we're trying to find good help, we're trying to find competent help, and we go out there and try to do it. Usually we have to pay for it, but notably, all of that calculus is absent in the divine economy that our deacons administer around here. The fourth attribute of skillful care is recognition. Recognition, and this one caught me off guard, recognition of the potential for abuse in care. She says, realize, if you're in a caring position, there are power dynamics right there. There's a potential inherent in this that you could harm somebody or you could exploit somebody. Caring is inherent with power dynamics. I'm the care giver and you're the care receiver, so shut your mouth and receive. One might say, I'm above you, and the other could say, okay, well, you serve me then. So there are power dynamics even there. Either side might exploit that setup and wring the other out like a sponge. Yet time and again, I've witnessed our deacons taking all 4 of these steps seriously. They notice a need. They take appropriate responsibility with competence, and all the while asking how they might promote the care receiver's flourishing and functioning while avoiding the exploitative dynamics that could be present in care relationships. We've all experienced this from our deacons. Have you personally? I know I have. Just like in the text read by Nate earlier, they're skillful at rejoicing with those who rejoice. I mean, they help throw some parties, some epic parties. It's funny, for their party today, we're just going to Torchies. We didn't throw them one. All right, that is a party. That is a party. Fine. They're good at mourning with those who mourn. When we grieve and our hearts are heavy, they're there with us. They're there when we lose loved ones, when we lose or change a job, when the world becomes such that we can only take it in at a teaspoon at a time because it's too much. They are right there. They're there. I've received calls, texts, notes, checking up on me, asking me how I'm doing, or sharing that I'm on their minds, or saying I'm in their prayers, or as Paul likes to say, he's holding me in the light. Because Paul can't say, I will pray for you, because it doesn't fit with his Christianish Quaker tradition that he comes from. David's pointing down.
Our Paul.
Sorry, the Paul that is in this community, not the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul doesn't hold me in the light. Paul Barizzo, who's not here because he's at his Quaker meeting, first and third Sundays of the month. He won't say, I'll pray for you. He says, I'll hold you in the light. And you know what? I believe him when he tells me that. Mm-hmm. I don't usually believe people when they're like, I'll pray for you. I'm like, I'll pray for you too, buddy. But when he says, I'm holding you in the light, man, I'm like, wow, he's honest enough to say, I don't really know what prayer is, and I don't get all that. I know what it means to hold somebody in the divine light. All right. I believe him. It's that kind of diversity that's sprinkled among our deacons. And in this community, that's beautiful. Now, this deacon ordination service happens to fall in the middle of a sermon series we're doing about songs that bring us to spiritual places. And the song I chose, after querying the whole community and then not going with anything they recommended, usually drives Heather crazy. Do that to her. The song I chose, As Long As I Can See the Light, by CCR. Lyle and the band are going to sing it for us here in a moment. I love this song for many reasons. In the song, the singer says he's got to move. He's got to go. He's got to leave. But don't worry, because he'll find his way home as long as he can see the candle placed in the window. I love this song, not least of which is because I believe in the right for folks to leave home, to deviate in part or in full from the expectations placed on them by parents and communities and churches and society or whatever. Like Abraham and Sarah, that patriarch and matriarch of our faith, they felt this divine calling to leave and go somewhere new, and they did that, and I affirm that. Those who consider peace home, us, we've wandered from all over, and we found our way here because I like to think there's a candle in the window sending a message. Travelers are welcome here. Seekers, the believers and post-believing and not so sure what they believe, are welcome here. The behaviors and the misbehaviors are welcomed here. All those who are drawn to our candle of dignity, of respect, of hope, of knowing and being known are welcome here. For the past few years, one of the ways that I've thought about our community, and we have a unique community here, so we got to bring in unique metaphors. But one of the ways I've thought about what we're doing here is that we are something of a hospice for faith. Hear me out. Hear me out. A lot of the folks attracted here are at that hospice stage in their spiritual lives, right? Trust in the goodness of God or the world or their fellow human is dying. Hope is dying. Faith is dying. Belief that a Jesus-shaped community could be enjoyable, safe, life-giving, that's dying. And the curative solutions offered by a typical church where spiritual experts surgically cut away bad beliefs and implant right beliefs, those solutions aren't working for them. In fact, these cures are doing more harm than they are good. And so folks find themselves here, where we are practicing a kind of spiritual palliative care, where we are less focused on curing one another and more focused on accompanying one another toward healing and wholeness in whatever way that happens to look for us at this point in life. And it takes many forms: relational health, emotional health, intellectual health, where we're allowed to ask questions and have doubts and explore things, material health, where we literally are meeting one another's material needs, and of course, spiritual health, where we are somehow being woven into this fabric of God's divine community and presence that carries us through all of life. And just like in a hospice program, some people die. Their faith in the possibility of a spiritual community dies, or spirituality shaped by the love of God as revealed in Jesus, it dies and they move on. This is tough to witness. We sometimes will just lament that together. Hey, you remember so-and-so? Wow, I miss them. And despite our best attempts at care, at attentiveness, responsibility, competence, and recognition of dangers, it happens. But some experience, I don't know what else to call it besides resurrection. Resurrection. Some come back to life in incredible, beautiful ways, and they feel as if they have been returned to life. Maybe this is you. I know it's certainly been me. And this is, of course, our collective work. This is what we're doing here. What the heck am I doing on a Sunday morning? This is one of my 2 days off. It's beautiful outside. Our 2 weeks of beautiful weather in Texas. I should be out there now. This is what we're doing. This is the collective work we are doing as a community. I think you would agree with me that our deacons are some of our most important leaders and teachers in this work. They are a healing, even a resurrecting force in this community. They are that light in the window leading us home, and I'm incredibly excited to have them all as partners and friends and co-healers in our community's work. At this time, I would like to invite Jana and our deacon candidates up for this next part, where we welcome 2 more as co-healers into that work. Thank you.
Good morning. All right, so you should have in your guide a call and response. So I will lead, and then where it says deacon candidates, of course, they're going to do that. But also if you will join us in the congregational portions. I have a lot I want to say about that sermon, but we'll hold back. So it's
Good or bad?
It's great.
Oh, okay, good.
No, it's we'll talk about it towards So we gather to affirm each of you in your new role as deacons in our sacred community.
We commit ourselves
To the mission of Christ through the ministry of the church. We promise to minister to the people of peace with love and generosity.
As a church, we are unified as one. As the deacons serve the congregation, the church also serves the deacons. This role is not above or hierarchical, but rather a particular calling of service amongst fellow servants.
We will serve the people in our church and in our community with the love of Christ demonstrated.
We will pray for you as we walk the path of life together. We call you to serve our church as deacons.
Jessica, in your new role as deacon, do you commit to serve your church and your community with love, hope, peace, humility, and grace?
I do.
And Joel, in your new role as deacon, do you commit to serve your church and your community with love, hope, peace, humility, and grace? Peace of Christ Church, do you agree to encourage and pray for our deacons as they co-labor with us to fulfill the mission of this church?
We do.
I know.
coming home soon. Long as I can see the light.
Yeah.
Pack my bag and let's get moving. 'Cause I'm bound to drift away. Though I'm gone, gone, you don't have to worry no. Long as I can see the light.
Okay, work.
I guess I've got that old traveling on. 'Cause this feeling won't leave me alone. But I won't be losing my way, no, no. Long as I can see the light. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Woo! Put a candle in the window. 'Cause I feel that I've got to move. Though I'm gone, gone, I'll be coming home soon. Long as I can see the light. 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 Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you, Law Prep.
That was awesome. Everyone's gonna go home and look up that song now. Good job. Okay.
We're gonna do a Creedence song every week from now on. Law's
Yeah.
gonna-
I almost feel like after Brittany's, like I did after Brittany's sound math. I'm like, oh, okay, we have just a couple announcements. First and foremost, we are going to Torchies after this, so help throw something in the trailer. Just kidding. Pack it up neatly. And put it in the trailer, and then come to the closest Torchies to us, which is off I-35. Whichever the closest one is, off I-35. I don't know how else to say it. But please come. We'll be out on the patio, taking up space. I just felt like a powerful metaphor was there. So we're not having church next week. We do have church the first Sunday of the month in December because we tend to do all the weeks of Advent. So other than that, we don't have church every first Sunday. So next week we don't have church, and then we'll be online. Get on our email list to know what's going on because there's a lot going on this next month. I'm also going to have a sign-up sheet at Torchies and in the back for the bingo volunteer day that we're doing. If you cannot come, you can still donate food or a prize. We need the whole community in order to do it because it's for 125 neighbors. That's about how many we're planning for this bingo activity. So find the person with the clipboard. All right, those are my announcements, but Jana has some symbolic gifts.
If I can have Jessica and Joel and Nate come up. You can open them if you'd like. Nate, it's for you. So, I became a deacon, there's been a tradition, I think it was long before me, but of giving new deacons a dish towel, fixer, sorry, as a symbolic gesture of serving the community. Not that we ask you to do dishes, but as like
That's nice. I'll always come to the Davis house and do dishes.
a symbolic of foot washing or washing dishes, whatever that servant part looks like for you. And it
I
has
will
our-
not wash your feet. I will wash your dishes.
Whoever's towel is most stained in the year is the best of it. Mine's that. But for Nate, we started this last year when we added the new junior deacons. I don't know if you can see inside there, but there's one teeny tiny mustard seed. And we think that that is what you are. You're like that little mustard seed that starts out real small, and even though you're small, the mustard seed, actually you're almost as tall as I am, that you are going to grow into to be something very mighty and strong. And we have that faith that you will do that. And so that's just a reminder of, though you are a junior deacon, one day you will grow into an adult and you will learn so many things and teach us so many things all about that. So we'll see y'all at Torchies. Thank you.
Stand for our benediction song. Kids, if y'all want to dance, feel free to dance. Grown-ups too. May I feel alive. May I feel joy from you and me. May I feel light shines through me. May the love pours from you pour out of me. Bring the word.
Bringing the world to life, showing us what it means to live. In you we live and move and breathe, bringing the world to life. May I be your hand, reaching out to the hungry. May I be your touch, comforting those who mourn. May I be your foot, walks in dark places. May I be your voice, speaking truth and peace. Bringing the world to life, showing us what it means to live. In you we live and move and breathe, bringing the world to life. Oh, Jesus, let us change the world with your peace. Oh, Jesus, bring the nations to your feet. Let us follow alongside you as you bring the world around us tonight. Tonight, you're bringing the world to life, showing us what it means to live. In you we live and move and breathe, bringing the world to one more time. Bringing the world to life, showing us what it means to live. In you we live and move and breathe, bringing the world to life, bringing the world to life, bringing the world to life. Go in peace for peace to Torchies.